Anglo Pride worldwide. It's finally happened. It's that time of the year again, in which no one shuts up because I'm gay, except none of this has anything to do with homosexuals anymore. I think we've pretty well established that.
Yeah, I think gay men are about to get booted from it on the basis that they're just too normy now.
Well, they already were booted, along with the lesbians.
Right.
Because it was the new standard that to be a gay man, you must like vaginas, and to be a lesbian, you must love sucking cock, which
Yes.
didn't really. That was kind of the whole point in becoming gay.
And
or
the
lesbian.
bisexuals are never really committing enough in the first place anyway.
Yeah, so that was what happened to the Pride movement. I saw Andrew Doyle today being like, "Do you remember when the Pride flag used to mean something?" And yeah, I mean, he's right that it used to mean toleration, and that's not. But we're going to go through all the news in relation to Pride because something brilliant's happened, which is all of the capitalist companies that used to put up that have all chickened out this year.
Oh.
They've all gone to hell with this. I'm not getting
right,
involved.
okay, good.
So, we'll promote something on lotusseasons.com real quick, being Aldous Huxley's The Brave New World book club we did, which was very good fun, and also is a hellscape in pure luxury, which, very similar to what we live in. But, let's start off. So, this just about sums up this time of year, of course. As you can see, this is average London street. Pride never stops. I mean, it sounds like a threat, but,
Yeah, the worst of the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, and, well, he's not exactly wrong, either. This is the person who put this up in his Converse shoe shop. Okay, because End Wokeness managed to put together a list of all the days that belong to Pride, of course, holy days in the calendar. It's 145 calendar days for the alphabet.
Right, so World War One and World War Two gets 1 day.
Yes.
For a combined 75 million deaths.
Yes, but
and
don't
yet,
you know there's a trans genocide
and
or
if,
something?
And if you're a man who wants to wear a dress, you get 175 days.
I mean, bro, they are the most oppressed people on Earth. If we go forward, we can see how oppressed they are. With
far worse than that. The 75 million people who got slaughtered.
If we go to the next link, we can see just that's how oppressed they are. You can see on the left there. I think that's somewhere in America. I forget. And on the right, London.
Really? That's London?
You not been to Regent Street? That's London.
Not for a while. God, that's got strong Star Wars theme, isn't it?
Should we make it bigger just for folks who haven't seen it? I think the one on the right is probably the most imperial looking.
Oh my God.
I don't know why they haven't taken that down yet, because I mean everyone's just been making fun of it endlessly, but whatever. That's what happens when you're the most oppressed people on planet Earth for all time.
And that circle.
Twin Tower Memorial? You mean the one on the left? No, I think it's in San Francisco or something. I can't remember.
And that circle means something, doesn't it? Is that the circle that means AIDS or something?
No, that's the black part. That stands for people who are dead from AIDS. But the circle, that stands for intersex people.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they added that. I mean, people always assume the black and brown stripes are for black and brown people. If you go and look it up, no, the brown stripe is for brown people. Right. And the black stripe is for people who died with AIDS.
Oh, that's a bit close, isn't it?
I'm still never really going to get over that that's ironically what it's for. Okay. But
are the maps on there yet?
The maps, yeah, they'll be there soon.
Right.
Yeah. Pedos. Yeah. So we'll get to that in a minute because, as I mentioned, they are the most oppressed people on Earth, and I believe this sincerely because reasons.
Okay.
I mean, there aren't any, and in fact, this has gotten so ridiculous. Even on Reddit.com, people are making fun of the alphabets. For example, this Holocaust survivor is being told that there's a trans genocide in Florida being carried out. So of course, everyone's like, "Shut up." Shut up.
So it's one of those genocides where their numbers basically double every couple of years.
There is nobody dying, but
yeah,
trust me, bro. Yeah, okay. But we'll get to the next link because I made a thread just documenting, I think, probably the most interesting aspect of Pride every year, which is the propaganda aspect. Now, Joseph Goebbels, bit Godwin's law, I know, but known as like the master of propaganda of the modern era, using the radio to propagandize the masses. Obviously, there's been a lot more creative ways of getting your messaging out there, regardless of the message. And I think Pride probably is the best time of year in the Anglosphere to see just the number of ways you can essentially advertise ideology. I mean, it really is just endless and things you wouldn't think to shove an advert on. I mean, it's kind of funny. When I went to... If you go to Moscow, you go on the metro,
right.
There's no adverts.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
You go down the escalators, nothing. On the platforms, nothing.
Yeah.
There's maps of the tube line you're on. That's it. It's beautiful. I love it. And then you come back to the West and there's adverts everywhere and it annoys you. But Pride is when we go all out and figure out just how many surfaces we can shove something on. So you see here, these are the trains we shall begin with. because why not? Cover literally the insides and outsides of every part of the train.
And it's the right shape as well.
Many a meme. If we scroll down, we can see more of these as it goes on. And if you have any, do send me them. We have the police, of course, who have shoved it on their lapels, their cars, their hats, and also on their unicorns that they keep on the car.
I bet you the police are self-aware enough not to go and park one of those outside a mosque.
We should hold a Pride event next week outside a mosque.
Yes.
God, what would happen? Just call for a police join. Come on, join us. I know you love... anyway.
Bring your rainbow car with you.
So, I mean, political stuff aside, it's just what I'm looking at right now is the number of places you can stick your messaging, because it really is endless and things you'd never think of. Go to the next scroll down on that, we can see some more. Of course, the endless crosswalks, which have, the revealed public preference is...
And I love the
screeching
videos
your tyres on it.
when they try and get a horse to walk over those things and they just freak out.
The horses are like, no,
Yes.
I won't take the gay steps.
Yes.
Takes the big steps instead. We go to the next one. Speaking of walking, there's also escalators and stairways and everything. See there, the London Metro. Unlike the Moscow Metro, just saying. Differences in the world. There's also the sits you could take. You want to sit on a park bench? I don't think so. It's messaging time. It's time for messages.
But they really are quite keen to push this stuff.
It really is just everywhere in the West. And I just mean in the sense of every possible place you can put it. In fact, the church has got in on this, of course. Shove it in your church collar, shove it on the church pew.
Well, the church is an interesting analogy with relation to like the US, because in the US, of course, they got this separation of state and church. So basically, that just left them wide open to another ideology being able to be pushed by the state. And basically, what this is it's just a religion in all but name that now has full state backing.
I mean, if you can click on the top right image of those four on the church one, I mean, that one is the one that is just weirdest to me. What we're describing here is we've got some like pane glass windows with God knows what on it.
I don't know what I'm looking at there.
And then at the bottom, it just has like carved in stone: diversity, healing, glory, wholeness, inclusion.
So years ago, I actually read the Bible, and it is not about diversity and inclusion.
No.
It is, in fact, it gives a whole list of people that you need to genocide
For various crimes against God.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's a whole bunch of tribes. It's like they don't exist anymore because they were successful, like the Hittites and a whole bunch of other ones. Yeah, just kill them all.
Have you ever seen the punishments for the Ten Commandments?
No.
So the commandments, there's some people who believe they're in order of severity, of course. The first one being the worst. So, shall not take other gods before me.
Right, okay.
First one, right? Do you want to know what the punishment is for that?
Death?
Genocide. Whole villages, women and children and animals need to be killed. I don't know what the animals have done.
This is for a first offence, is it?
Yeah. I was listening to Ricky Gervais's podcast where he went through all this. It's just like, the first four are all genocide. And then it's just death. And then excessive fines for stealing and so forth. Anyway, should we go back to the list and move on? Because that's enough God talk and the church. So we have here the weapon manufacturer socks, which, of course, don't you want to get your bomb socks?
Raytheon Pride socks.
Yes. Killer robot socks for Pride. There's also Light, of course, serves the God Emperor of rainbows. We have here London, again, just being London. I mean, we make fun of the United States, but no one seems to do it cringer than London. But again, that's not even England. Anyway, for people listening, I want to describe the last one in specifically, which is at one point they decided to change the traffic lights to have transgender symbols in them because there was no reason given ever. I don't think anyone figured that one out. We'll just end the last one here.
And I'm just struck by the one on the left there, which is a whole building wrapped around in the Pride flag with the soldiers lined up ready to salute it. I mean, and basically you've got to remember with all of this stuff, it's basically about how people come. And if you want to come in an unusual way in your own house, fine. Do whatever you want. I don't particularly care with whoever. I mean, as long as
those glasses, the movie where you put them on and you see the real message.
Yeah,
it's just the word "come."
Yes. I mean, that's what Pride is all about. It's
just everywhere.
You can come
you
in
look at the train,
in an unorthodox way, and as long as you're doing it in your own home with somebody who's of legal age, I don't care.
I mean, that would
come however you want. But why do I need to have come advertising on absolutely everything?
To be honest, I think that might be the best protest of all time. People started graffitiing on them, just the words "come."
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? It's just...
That's the TV screen as well. If you want to open that up, I forget the name of it's a very famous place. I can remember the damn name of the place. It's the big TV screen with all the adverts on, the Coca-Cola adverts and whatnot in the centre of London. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
something circus or park or who cares?
Yeah, Piccadilly Circus. I didn't recognise it.
Part of
First,
our
but
country
yeah.
anymore anyway. Moving forward though, because there's that. I don't know if we scroll down just real quick, just to show up one more thing actually, which is if your store is crumbling and closed down, just put a flag on it. Don't worry. I mean, it reminds me, as I've said before, in Brazil, where they started covering up the poverty by just painting the houses various colours, and then it just looked nicer because it wasn't all grey. It's like, you're not fixed anything.
I like the Babylon Bee take on it, which is, people in brown countries put the pride flag over their hut to make sure that the US don't bomb it.
Definitely true. But we get the next link, because there is one person I at least have some, I'm going to say respect for, in the way that they did Pride, which is Opera GX, which just tweeted out 2 black men kissing as their logo.
Burgers.
No, because in the comments, like you can see here, this is the real Pride Month logo, as they say. But then in the comments, they were just like, I don't care about corporate capitalism, I don't care about selling merch, I just like gay sex. I was like, okay. Well, at least they're honest. So there you are.
I appreciate that there are gay black men, but the gay community, the black community as a whole, is really hostile to this
Yeah,
idea.
sure, but I think this gets more to your point, which is like, this is actually what you're celebrating, and that's kind of weird to put as your logo, which I would have thought, just in general anyway, but okay. I mean, put the words "come" as your logo if you want. We'll move forward because the MOD decided to jump in to the debate. Of course, tweeting this piece of crap out. People have seen this before. I think Xbox used it as their logo once. And now the MOD is the Ministry of Defence for the UK. Well, this is the new Ministry of Defence flag. Come on, join the army. Die for our
Christ,
glory.
you wouldn't want to be looking at that after some mushrooms, would you?
Can you see the Bulgarian flag in there? Top right. Anyway, moving on. Because that's obviously just a mess. It's not the only new attempt. We get the next one here. People have been shoving their corporate logos in it, as you can see. I think this is the library. Decided to put a little swirly thing, which is their logo. So there's that. And then there's Pride in Surgery, of course, as well. This is surgery that, does that kind of surgery. I don't know if to do it to kids, but cutting off healthy breasts, that's their pride, as Posey Parker says. Bit weird. Pride itself has made a statement in London. We can go and check them out. They're obsessed with kids this year, publicly, which is strange. They decided to tweet out Pride isn't about straight kids turning into queer kids. Pride is about not turning queer kids into dead kids.
Well, yeah, but it obviously is, isn't it? Because
I don't think there are any queer kids.
During the pandemic, because basically, what was happening is the amount of trans kids was going up and up and up on a curve like that. And then we had lockdowns where teachers didn't have access to kids, and the amount of trans kids actually started going back down again. And then the teachers got hold of them, and it started going back up again. So obviously, it is grooming.
I mean, I don't agree there are queer kids. Why are you talking about kids?
Yeah, my kids aren't even sexualized one way or the other, are they? I mean,
The hell's the matter with you?
Yes.
And well, I think it's a correct response. We got the British Library, because the British Library actually had the best thing about Pride to put up. They decided to argue gay men are women because fish.
okay. Talk me through the steps.
Right, so here we are. This is the post.
Yep.
They deleted this after they realised that maybe gay men aren't women because fish. You think I'm joking. That is literally the complexity of their argument. They tweet out about this fish you've never heard of, who has a really weird mechanism for reproduction.
Right.
And that's to do with pride, because fish.
I suspect it isn't spaffing over another chapfish's back or something, though, is it?
Well, if you scroll down, they have some more crap where they've just written about this fish's life and just nothing. Just no real reasoning other than this is for Pride Month. Here's our Pride logo, of course, with the transsexual.
This feels to me like somebody had a whole interesting series of tweets lined up about some fascinating discovery involving a fish, and they were just about to hit publish when their supervisor came over and said, "You can't publish that because it's got no pride stuff in it." So they're like, "Oh shit! How can I make it about pride?" And they just half-arsed it.
I mean, you ever seen Rockbusters? So Cole Pilkington used to do this thing where he'd give you a clue. It's a crap game. Anyway, there was a Christmas edition, and everyone was wondering if he was going to make it Christmassy, and he hadn't. So at the end, he just added, so he'd do the clue for the quiz, and then just add at the end, by the way, have a good Christmas. Just, like shaking some bells or something to be like, yeah,
Right.
we're taking part. Can't be bothered. If you go to the end here, we have the responsible party, which is they tag a whole bunch of people and say, thank you for these people who helped us learn this on Pride and blah, 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 because, fish equals queerness. Or something. It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Celebrate nature and all its queerness because fish. These people all have she, they, or she, them, or they, them pronouns. So they're all got multiple personality disorder, is what I presume, from someone who would use that kind of pronoun.
It's a certain type that goes into librarianism in the first place, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, just, I know I'm kind of edging on it, but what the heck?
Yes.
I mean, this is the kind of madness that people will do. If you give them mad ideology and just let them run with it, they will turn to you and be like, yeah, men are women because fish. I mean, there's a reason they deleted it. Well, moving on, we go to RNHS, of course, who decided
obviously they're going to get in on it.
because, they're cash strapped. Diversity budget isn't cash strapped, but
Yes.
the rest of it is, presume.
Well, they're always whining about they got any money.
Well, they decided to, you can see here, this is King's College, who decided to paint their place and
And I bet that cost like at least 40 grand to
some
get that done.
ridiculous amount. The individual who's responsible for this flag as well, the one in the pure white in the centre there, who's cutting the ribbon, that person is the one who supposedly, quote, invented the new flag with the intersex symbol. Presumably that's under copyright.
Is it possible to zoom in on the face? Because
Oh, we'll get to it in a minute. We'll go to the next one, actually.
Right.
I think where you can see the individual's Twitter account. She, they. Yep. So this person is getting all the promotion out of it. Their flag being used everywhere. For some reason, the old one wasn't good enough. They changed it now because reasons. I mean, it's kind of funny, actually. I mean, intersex at least is a thing you can point to and be like, that's a biological reality. It's not something that happens in the mind. It's something that happens in the DNA.
incredibly rare, though.
Yeah, of course. But
I mean, it's unlikely that in your daughter's school there's going to be like 12 intersex people.
I'm not arguing that this should be normalised to,
Yes.
this is what we all must learn about or something. But I do find it funny that the trans part of it has been moved out a little bit for this, which at least, makes at least more sense than the other stuff. Moving on, though. We'll go to the next one, because it turns out this person is also responsible for the trains, as I mentioned earlier.
Right.
Great. Also London, if you go to the next one. And is now on the Bank of London's honours list.
Negative, and it's shocking to me. So I think that's a
I
really
do not want to listen to
important day.
whatever noise is coming out of her. But we'll go to the next one here, because then we can see the Bank of London's honours list. Let's put this person on there. This is how oppressed you are when you're backed by banks.
Yes. So the full backing of the state, the military, and the central bank, and corporations.
But that's airstrip one. We're done with that. Let's move on. Let's go international, because Pride, of course, is all over the world.
Yes.
Just a quick stop to the Philippines, who decided to put this up in the police office. So this is a district office for the transportation. They have priority lane there. Senior citizens, pregnant women, person with disability, LGBTQ.
Wait, so all you need to say is, because the B, I mean that's easy, isn't it? I mean you could just say, I had a bit of a reach around once, and you can get in a priority lane.
I too have joined the Masons, so I don't know that you're in there. Quote, it is worth noting that priority lanes exist to help people with physical and or mental difficulty in processing transactions. We wish to make it clear, said a local gay rights group, being LGBTQ is in no way impairs a person's physical capability to take part in social or governmental functions.
Right.
Which is why you get priority. Which is, okay, whatever.
There is
It's
a joke
just
I could make here.
The funniest slip.
Yes.
There we are. We'll move back to the Anglo world, because we'll go here. This is a gender-affirming elementary school. The co-executive director using he, him, and his
elementary
pronouns.
school. So that goes up to about 6 or 7. Oh dear.
I mean, your point about it. I mean, groomer safe at the bottom there. I don't think so. But we'll go to the United States, because the United States is like ground zero.
Yeah.
At least in the elitist circles for this stuff. We have the Department of Agriculture who decided to join in. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're turning the food gay. I thought the frogs were enough, but never mind. We have US Energy is also now gay. There we are. All of it. It's all gay. Gay
Well,
energy.
like you say, it's not even gay anymore. They've
Nothing to
been
do with that.
pushed out.
Yeah.
And actually,
Queer.
the trans will get pushed out within 20 years. The trans will be marginalised as well.
No way.
And no, it'll be furries and the kids stuff.
The
like
Furry
them.
Map Alliance.
Yes.
One day. No,
Yes.
hopefully not. But we'll go to the next one. We have the US Education Department, who decided to also come out and be like, yeah, that's what we're about. So, okay. This one's not a joke. Just American education is gay. Cool. And then that's the extent of it, really. You have some government departments, the occasional cringe posting, and in the corporate world, shut it down, boys.
Right.
Not this year. Because,
Normally they're going for that stuff pretty big.
yeah, every year, their Western outlets change their flags, the Eastern outlets in the Middle East don't.
It's always a thing.
Strange. But this year,
Ooh.
we can see here, this is Major League Baseball, who decided to do a Pride logo for all of a day, and then went, take it down. No more of that. Interesting. The US Navy also decided to run away. You can see here they...
Now, I mean, if anyone's going to put one of these up, it should be the Navy.
Yeah, in the Navy. Trans our kids at sea in the... No, anyway. But they decided to change their logos and their backing, and then for a whole, I think, about 2 hours before they put it back.
Just to say that we did.
There was also
That's interesting.
an event in Florida that decided to cancel its LGBTQ event because literally 0 human beings brought tickets. Figure the next link here. Interesting. Seems like the culture's changing. Another company in question decided to skip it. Can you guess who?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bud Light were like...
Yeah. And I bet all the other beer companies decided to skip it as well.
Yeah, it turns out a lot of companies skipped it this year.
Right.
Figure the next link. Someone has compiled a list. This is world statistics. Apple skipped it. Microsoft, no. Saudi Aramco, I mean, that's pretty usual. Google, nah. Amazon, not interested. Nvidia, no. Meta, no. Tesla, no. Visa, no. ExxonMobil, not interested. Chevron, Nestle, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, no thank you. Strange.
You have to go a long way down that list until you get to Merck.
I mean, you've got Bank of America, Pfizer...
Yeah. Oh, Pfizer, fair enough.
AstraZeneca didn't. I sense a change. I sense a change in the culture, especially the corporate culture, realizing this doesn't work. I mean, it made you look bad at the best of times anyway. But these days when you're...
Because they used to think it was costless, didn't they? Because they used to think, well, if we don't do it, we might get in trouble. And if we do it, no one is there's like no cost to doing it. So everyone just did it.
Everyone assuming it was something to do with accepting gays or whatever.
Yes.
But that's long since gone. That paradigm is long dead.
Well, that battle was sort of won in the, the 80s or something?
Yeah, but the paradigm of, well, do you put the pride flag in your thing for Pride Month is no longer about homosexuality, as we've been over. It's about, do you believe that a man can become a woman, or should we do this to kids, etc.? That's the topic of discussion, which is why gays and lesbians have been kicked out of pride parades all over the Anglo world, which is hilarious, because they don't agree that they're attracted to the other sex. That's kind of the thing that they've gotten involved with.
I mean, if there's a genocide of anybody,
it's gays.
Well, it's definitely lesbians.
Yeah.
Because you used to be able to just be a lesbian.
Not anymore.
Yeah, but now it's like you have to, okay, well, you're going to have to start having some hormones now.
Funny thing, though, this has got quite a lot of people in the left quite worried.
Good.
Yeah, I'm quite happy too. If you go to the next link, we can see someone here, got 20,000 like-a-roonies, being very worried as they write here. As much as I hate rainbow capitalism, it's honestly a scary reminder of the times ahead that companies don't find us profitable enough to do their usual pandering BS anymore. Yeah, you were never profitable. Because, as we've been over, gay people and straight people both use YouTube. They both use Spotify. They both drink Coca-Cola. You know what symbols represents them? Symbol of the company for the product.
Yes.
They're not some weird rainbow stuff. And if you also decide that, well, to pander to the gay community, you also have to engage in, well, telling gays they're no longer gay. You're going to destroy your entire community.
There are strands of self-realization going through this. This is interesting.
It's almost there. But anyway, they're not the funniest ones. Xbox. Xbox decided to hit it out of the park. I think they win this year's Pride because they did this, where Xbox had their weird schizophrenic Pride logo for a day and then went, get rid of that, and decided then to change it for the rest of Pride with an Xbox logo that's on fire, representing presumably hell. For some reason.
So they have got the maps on there.
maybe they realised and were like, I
Finally.
Who knows? But I think, Xbox, you win. You get my award for funniest company
Well
during
done,
Pride.
Xbox.
That is big bants. But otherwise, Anglo Pride, so far, not very eventful. Except from the fact that not being very eventful is a good thing. All the companies are bailing. Now, we will join us for the last segment in a minute, where we'll go through German Pride, who are doing something quite a bit more funny.
Yep.
But otherwise, see you then. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this episode on the price of tomorrow with Jeff Booth. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.